So we're going to call this special board meeting on May 7th to order at 2:39. Members present are Jerry Neosland, Dr. Walls, Rich Rydell, Kristen Montgomery, and myself, Ken Crandall. Are we going to have the flag picture here, TK? There we go. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. TK reminded us that if we stand up, you can only see our midsection. So I suggested that we do a one-time only seated Pledge of Allegiance. So we'll start with that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I couldn't hear anybody, but I'm assuming we all said the Pledge of Allegiance, right? All right, and I muffed it there, so I apologize. So we can see the agenda is on the screen right now. TK, do we have any public participants that you're aware of? Is there public comment?
I do not show that we have any public participants at this time.
Okay. That said, we will move on to the agenda items requiring action, and that would be resolution number 426, seeking approval for the resolution providing for authorization to bind the district in matters related to Small Business Administration Paycheck Protection Program. And we have some documents that are associated with this. So Steve, what I think we'll do is just turn this over to you at this point, and you can walk us through this.
Okay, that'll be great. TK, do you want to throw the actual resolution up there?
Give me just a moment.
Okay. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
I lost the picture. TK, did you do anything to my?
Hey, Rich.
I haven't touched my screen, and all of a sudden.
Rich. Hey, Rich.
Yeah.
There's a little blue camera at the bottom. If you click that, and the video will come back on. On your taskbar at the bottom, there should be a little blue screen with a camera in it.
It came back on, but I didn't touch anything. Okay. I use Zoom all the time, so I don't know what happened.
Okay, so I'd sent out some materials to you. In short, I think we're all aware of what's going on here. Seneca was able to apply for a loan under the Paycheck Protection Program. And short story long, when this first came out, SBA traditionally prohibited public entities from applying for their loans. It wasn't clear because this program was generated out of the CARES Act. So there was specific legislation that authorized this program. The language in it didn't say you couldn't have public entities, and it didn't say you could have them. Subsequently, they changed the application to add a box for other, which on the one application, the two-page application that I provided to you all, we've checked. And then subsequently after that, we received specific language that said we were eligible for the program. So we did apply. We applied through Plumas Bank. What we did is we took our annual payroll and related cost, health insurance, pension, and unemployment taxes, and divided that, took it over a year, divided it by 12, and then multiplied it by 2.5 times. We had to exclude any annual compensation per individual over $100,000, and we had to exclude all of the benefits for those individuals. So that was taken out, and then when we did that, we came up with a calculation that we were eligible for a loan of $1,508,168. We submitted that loan and that request, and last week we received notification from Plumas Bank that our application had been accepted. I issued an SBA loan number, and we are ready to move forward. As we are closing this all out, the bank said we need to have a resolution from your board that one, authorizes the borrowing, and two, authorizes an individual, which we put in the resolution to be myself, to negotiate and to sign documents and provide information to support the final loan application. Are there any questions of how we got to this point, what this means?
No, I move that we approve the resolution.
Actually,
Okay.
I have some questions.
Okay.
Walls, go ahead.
Steve, are there any restrictions on what the money can be used for, or does it just go into the general fund and the hospital can disperse in any manner they choose?
The short answer is yes, there are restrictions. 75% of the amount we received has to be used for eligible expenditures, which are the payroll figures that we use to do the loan request. So the payroll up to $100,000 per employee plus benefits. We can use it to pay mortgage interest, which we don't have. We can use it to pay rent and utilities, which we do have, but it's a much smaller amount. If we don't use 75% for, or let me say it first in the positive. If we use 75% of the money for those eligible expenditures, the entire amount of the loan will be eligible for forgiveness. There's two other factors that come into place. If we don't use 75% of the amount, then that amount that we don't use will be converted into a loan. But with our payroll costs, let me back up again. The reason this is such an ideal program for Seneca is that it was designed for companies to keep employees employed. And we had already made the commitment to keep our employees whole and employed. And so we're set up perfectly to comply with this, with the provisions of this, and we'll use the money for payroll. And then if we have to, we'll use whatever we need for rent and utilities.
Okay, my only other question is, will this breakdown of where the funds go appear somewhere on the financial report?
I wish there was a completely straight answer to that. What we will do is we will presume, based upon the way that we're handling things, that we're meeting the requirement of the loan, and therefore we can take it into income. The expenses will just be recorded as they always are recorded. When it's subsequently, when we get through there's an 8-week period during which we need to expend these funds, 8 weeks subsequent to when we get the loan funds, that we need to expend this money. So the things we're expending it for will just go into expenses like they normally do. It would just be a matter of whether or not we bring the loan into income as it becomes a forgiven amount, or we continue to show it as a liability on the balance sheet. And then we could wait until there's a full reconciliation by the banks and SBA, if that happens, and then by our auditors. But the expenses will get recorded as usual. It's just a matter of where do we show the other side of the money. When we receive it, it'll be set up as a loan. As we expend it, that's when we can bring it into income, or we just keep it as the loan until the very end. I hope that
That's all I,
sort of answered that.
that's all I have.
Steve, do you have, is there, which way are you leaning toward on doing that?
Well, quite honestly, I hadn't given it enough thought, because what I need to do now is I need to set up our baseline for the FTEs and the payroll amount, and then each time we do the payroll, we'll compare how much we've spent to how much we received, and if we're spending 75%, I think we're justified in bringing it into income, and I'm happy to do that. I'm comfortable to do that. You know, I really don't know that it makes a big difference until in the end when we say, okay, is there any of this that we're going to owe back? Because it does go down, it's going to go down as a grant down at the bottom.
Yes.
Underneath operations. So I don't know that it makes a large difference in the interim. It will make an absolute difference when we're done, because we will have a possible liability.
Okay, other questions?
It needs to be a second to my motion.
There does need to be a second to the motion. Okay, the resolution number 426 has been a motion by Rich Rydell to approve, seconded by Jerry Nielsen. So I'll call for the vote now. Dr. Walls? Dr. Walls, are you on mute?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Rich? Oh,
Aye.
Yeah, Rich is right. Aye. Jerry? And Kristen?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye, so motion carries.
Good job, Steve.
Yeah. glad-
Yeah, and big thanks to Plumas Bank. Tracy Smith here at our local branch referred us to a gentleman in Reno, and he really ran with it and got it done. So, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, good work. Well, I guess that concludes our business for the day. Our next meeting is May 28th, 3 p.m., and I'm assuming we'll be on Zoom again.
Hey, Ken,
Yeah,
are you in Chester today?
I am.
Would it be possible for you to come by and sign the resolution so we can get it off the signed copy off to Plumas Bank?
Absolutely.
Okay, we will be here.
Okay, I'll be there shortly. I just need to get my shoes on, and I'll come on over.
Yeah. Quick question before we wrap up. Steve, did you get any information about the revisions to the Brown Act?
Well, what are you specifically looking for? Because there's been a lot that came out.
Okay, because I was in, my wife's a trustee of a college, and she had a meeting this morning where they presented all the revisions to the Brown Act that were implemented by the governor's executive order in March. If
Okay.
you don't have that, I could send you those slides.
You know, if you don't mind sending that to me, and I'll compare what we've been forwarded multiple things from our legal counsel. But
Okay.
if you would
it
share that
probably
with me, that would be. That's okay. I'd like to just double check if you don't mind sending it.
Okay, be happy to do it. All
Hey,
right,
Rich, can you send it to us?
sure. Sure.
I think Rich has to send it to Steve and then somehow to us. I don't know, it's not really.
Yeah, that'd be great. If you just send it to me, and then I'll send out anything that I don't see that our legal has provided to us as well.
Okay,
Okay, good.
all right, anything else? Well,
Good.
thanks for attending the meeting on short notice.
Right.
Thanks for the work on this, Steve. Let's talk to you all a little later.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, take care all.
Thank you, TK.